Alright, so based on looking through social media, based on looking at the comment section for some of my videos covering PlayStation Plus Premium, the game update, it seems like y'all hate PlayStation Plus Premium, it seems like yo mama hates PlayStation Plus Premium, it seems like everybody hates PlayStation Plus Premium. That is, of course, the top tier PS Plus subscription service that is available right now, and the real drawing factor to that subscription service was, of course, the classic games, the PlayStation 1 titles, the PlayStation 2 titles, the PSP games, and I guess for the 4 of you that have the internet service that can support it, streaming PlayStation 3 games as well. But I think for the majority of people, it was about the PS1, PS2, and PSP games. If you like your game trials, there's a couple of those on there. Great. Enjoy 2 hours of Soul Hackers 2. Good game, but 2 hours ain't gonna get you much. We're about those classic titles, and unfortunately, the game updates have left quite a bit to be desired at this point. Look, I like me some Siphon Filter. I guess Super Stardust Portable is cool, but there are a bevy of games and potential games that can be added to the service to make it so much more enticing. I know that Sony and PlayStation are not going to roll out all the games at once. The idea is they want to keep you subscribed month over month, because while a lot of you guys probably have like stacked years on years of subscriptions, when it was available a few months ago, you could finagle your way to get a bunch of years really cheap. A lot of people are going month to month, and that's why you're supposed to get quality, regular, monthly updates. Nonetheless, in this video, I want to highlight 6 titles that I think can be added to PlayStation Plus Premium that would make it a lot better. 6 games that I just want to see added to PS Plus Premium, and I think a lot of other people would like to see get added as well. I'll probably do this a little bit regularly, just because, yo, this is 6 games, but we could literally probably go through 600 games. Got a couple PlayStation Portable titles, got a couple PS1 titles, no PS2 games, not going the streaming route and mentioning PS3 games. Once you get PS3 emulation natively on PS5, let me know, Sony. But nonetheless, let's get started and let's kick things off with the PSP titles. Right off the top, Ratchet & Clank Size Matters I think would be a nice addition. Now, Size Matters was also released on the PlayStation 2, so whichever version you want to go with, feel free. I would love to see Size Matters get upgraded with an HD release and be available on Plus Premium. Now, this wasn't the best Ratchet & Clank game of all time. At the end of the day, this was designed for the PlayStation Portable, so you can see its limitations and whatnot, but it's still a humorous game, it's a quirky game, and it still has a lot of the elements of Ratchet & Clank you know and love. Good platforming, humor, gameplay solid, you got some wacky weapons. Overall, it's a solid game. It has an 85 on Metacritic. It came out all the way back in 2007 and was really one of the system sellers on the PSP. If memory serves me correct, I believe they bundled it in with a lot of PSPs. I don't know if I'm getting Ratchet & Clank Size Matters and Daxter confused, but it was probably both of them. I know Daxter was a big inclusion with a lot of the PSP Slims back in the day, but Size Matters was a go-to title for anyone with a PSP. And it would be nice if it was upgraded on Plus Premium, added some trophies, that would be pretty cool. Just get all the Ratchet games on Plus Premium and Plus Extra. Next up, another PSP game that I really enjoyed of a very notable franchise, Resistance Retribution. The Resistance title that is long forgotten, and yeah, there's another portable Resistance title in Resistance Burning Skies, but Retribution was really the handheld Resistance title that I enjoyed. It's a third-person shooter, had a really, really interesting main character. Narratively, it was pretty strong. Not the lengthiest game in the world, but a pretty good third-person shooter, all things considered. The limitations on the PSP were there, given that it only had one analog stick. That was always going to be the limitation with the PSP when it came to shooters. But I still really enjoyed Resistance Retribution. Was it blowaway from a technical standpoint? No, but I thought the elements that were there from a gameplay standpoint, story standpoint, I thought those were rather good. It had multiplayer back in the day as well, and the multiplayer was quite good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I don't know if you can get that working through Plus Premium, but that would be cool as well. But Resistance Retribution, I think, would be a slam dunk addition. Next up, I think another easy addition, God of War Chains of Olympus, another notable PlayStation franchise. Sony, don't be whack and add the God of War Origins collection where it's only streamable through PlayStation Now or the PlayStation streaming. Either get PS3 emulation working and then add the collection, or add Chains of Olympus, the PSP version, onto PlayStation Plus Premium. I swear, if they add the Origins collection and it's only streamable, I'm just gonna lose it. But nonetheless, God of War Chains of Olympus was another one of those PSP system selling titles. A lot of people checked it out. I believe they had a God of War Chains of Olympus PSP console, or a handheld device, whatever you want to call it. and that flied off shelves. And yeah, the slide on this game was super short, but you were taking you know, God of War at the time, one of the notable franchises, and bringing it to the PSP. It was an origin story, or a prequel rather, and it was a pretty darn good game. So hopefully Chains of Olympus, I mean, that's a no-brainer. God of War still has so much cachet as a IP, and even if, you know, people dig the God of War games these days, like the 2018, after the new style shift, you're damn right people would want to go back and play through Chains of Olympus and add Ghosts of Sparta in there, and ultimately God of War 1 and 2 could do good on the PlayStation 2 section of the classics as well. Obviously, God of War 1 and 2 were remastered as well on the PS3 in the form of the God of War Collection. But until they get PS3 emulation working, yeah, ain't nobody trying to stream those games. We want them natively, and they would be nice additions as well. And as far as the last PSP title I have for you guys, this is one that I really personally want. Dissidia Final Fantasy. If you want to go Dissidia 012 Duodecim Final Fantasy, fine. Whatever you want to go with. Probably Duodecim would be the better addition. Dissidia Final Fantasy is a game that I just love. Was it completely blow away? Like mechanically, narratively? No, but seeing all of these iconic Final Fantasy characters, Cloud, Titus, all of the villains being in there as well, the notable villains, and then seeing them battle it out, it was a damn cool game, man. And as a big Final Fantasy fan, it was just fan service galore. I loved the game, the soundtrack was great, and it was just a very enjoyable game. Sure, the story was kind of nonsensical, but overall, I sunk so many hours into Dissidia Final Fantasy back in the day. The NT release was not really my cup of tea. I enjoyed the PSP games. Square, if you ever want to go back and remake the game or do it in a different style than what NT was, I'd be down for that. But until then, Sony, Square, you guys have a good relationship. Let's get Dissidia Final Fantasy on Plus Premium. That's a game that I know outside of myself. Bro, it's all the Final Fantasy characters duking it out. Like, people are going to be into that game even if they never played Dissidia Final Fantasy in their life. Came out all the way back in 2009, so I can imagine a lot of you guys missed it. And really, the PSP, it wasn't like it was that popular of a platform, but Dissidia Final Fantasy was great. Would love to see it, or Duodecim, whatever you want to add. Finally, got a pair of PlayStation 1 titles I definitely want to mention. JRPGs. You guys know this channel, man. I'm going to mention a lot of JRPGs if you're going to stick with it. Be prepared for that. But that's why the first 3 games were not JRPGs. Alright, The Legend of Dragoon. Gotta give this a mention. Legend of Dragoon was just a very enjoyable RPG. Now, I didn't play it all the way through when it initially came out. I think I had a buddy that had it, and I like watched him play it on the PS1 back in the day, and then I would play it as well at his crib. But I played it on my PSP. I don't remember if I played it when it was a PS3 Classic, if it was a PS3 Classic, or I just did shenanigan emulator stuff. But Legend of Dragoon was a game that I enjoyed. I thought it had a charming cast of characters. The gameplay was fine, and overall the story wasn't like blow away, but I thought it was a pretty entertaining JRPG the whole way through. Bear in mind, I did play the game like north of a decade ago, so my memory is a little bit foggy. I just remember really enjoying it, and it's a game that I constantly see in the comments section as well. I think somebody put like a hilarious comment the other day when we were talking about Plus Premium, and they were like, I would literally eat a cheesecake if The Legend of Dragoon would come to Plus Premium, and I'm lactose intolerant. That made me chuckle. But nonetheless, Legend of Dragoon would be great. I had been like hoping and praying. It was just like a complete out there request that Blue Point Games would do a ground up remake of The Legend of Dragoon. So random. That's not gonna happen. They can remake a bunch of other games that would probably sell a lot better, but it would still be pretty damn cool to see. Nonetheless, this is another game that I feel like has quite a bit of nostalgia attached to it, and it would be nice as far as a PS1 game being available. And lastly, another Square JRPG. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Xenogears. This is one of the most iconic JRPGs of all time. This was another game that I didn't play growing up during the PS1 era. Like, I was literally like 3 years old when this game came out. 3 or 4 years old when this game initially came out. But I played it on the PSP, and this was definitely released as a PlayStation 3 classic. It was one of those games that was actually $9.99 versus $5.99. How about that? That's how much they knew people wanted to play Xenogears. But Xenogears was a grandiose JRPG. Like, it took a little bit to really get going, but then the story just gets absolutely wild. It's a crazy game, and it tackles a lot of interesting thematics, and it's a fairly mature game as well. And I know this is a game that a lot of people want to go back and play. Sure, it's an easy game to emulate, but it's a very iconic game at this point. And Xeno as a franchise is pretty notable as well. But Xenogears, would love to see some sort of addition to that on Plus Premium. I think that's a game that could literally headline a PS Plus Premium like classic section month, and people would be very happy with it. These days, they're not really headlining PS Plus Premium with anything. I mean, Siphon Filter 2 is a nice addition, but nonetheless, Xenogears would be a slam dunk addition that I think would actually get people really, really excited, given how iconic this game has become and the reception that the game generally had. It actually has an 84 on Metacritic, which I'm like shocked to see it rated that low. Legend of Dragoon, in comparison, has a 74. I feel like games were rated at a harsher curve back in the day. That just might be my take, but 84 seems kind of low for Xenogears. I would have easily assumed that to be in the 90s. But nonetheless, it's a great game and should be added at Plus Premium. That's gonna do it for me. That's just 6 games, man. Like I said up the top, we could do 600 games that should be added to Plus Premium. There is such a significant roster of PS1, PS2, PSP games, and I'm sure, you know, you gotta work out licensing deals. You gotta think about the fact that, hey, I want to add a game like Tales of Abyss onto this list. That's a PS2 title. I am sure in Bandai Namco's mind, they're like, yeah, we're gonna either remaster that game or remake that game. So no, we're not gonna be adding it to Plus Premium. So yeah, there's things like that to take into account as well. But man, I think a Plus Premium can be a lot better than what it is currently, so there you go with that. Let me know what games you guys would like to see. I'm definitely going to do more iterations of videos like this. Hopefully at some point we get like some Vita titles on there. I know the Vita's library is not like super filled with depth, but Muramasa the Demon Blade, just give me that, and like we can close the Vita chapter right then and there. But that's gonna do it for me. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off with your thoughts down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.